And welcome. My name is Andrew, and this is the Who Dat Discussion, a New Orleans Saints podcast where we talk about all Saints news, opinions, and reactions. So before we get into some Saints news, I just want to introduce our guest, Bryan from We Are the Who Dat Nation. Hey, Bryan.
Hello there. Thank you for having me on your awesome podcast.
Yeah, so do you want to tell a little about your channel before we get started?
Well, of course, we have the YouTube channel, which is We Are the Who Dat Nation. Trying to build that up as always, Who Dat fans.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have at WATWDN on the Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and We Are the Who Dat Nation on Facebook. And then we have the Instagram, which is just a picture thing, mainly. But yeah, hey, follow for follow, like for like, it's all good, and. Hope everybody likes what they see, and, it's all good.
Yeah, all right. So I just want to say before we begin, you do some great work. And I always love listening to your stuff before Saints games, after Saints games, and that stuff. You do a great job.
Appreciate it. I don't think to claim myself as an expert, but, I've been watching them for 30 plus years. So, hey, I've been watching them since I've been 6 or 7. So, fans take.
Yeah. All right, so obviously we'll talk about some Saints news, and really the big news is that, we played a football game on Saturday, and the Saints won 36-7 against the Chargers in LA. So just look up some game leaders before we talk a little about the game. So in passing yards, the Saints, Tom Savage led the way with 99 yards. He was 7 for 10 as well. Rushing yards, Taysom Hill had 6 carries, 35 yards and a TD, and then Tommy Lee Lewis also was the receiving leader with 2 catches for 45 yards. So, just a little about the game. Brees started off. He played about 3 series, just about a quarter. The first 2 were a little shaky, but the third one he came on strong and played really good. So, what do you think about how Brees played and just the way he looks, coming for the season?
He played pretty good in my opinion. Of course, that second play where he threw the interception, it's preseason, like I tell people, it's preseason, and he hadn't played the first 2 games, and more than likely he's not going to play in the 4th game. I think he played in 17 plays.
Yeah.
Has he said in his press conference, they did pretty good. There's still stuff to work on. But other than that, I think he did pretty good. I think he finished something like 7-8, 7-9, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, he was 7 for 9, but Kamara had a drop, so really 7 for 8.
Yeah, true. But if it was, that one drop actually led to the
the Taysom Hill play.
That drop later on, it was the fake punt for Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Which I still think was a good play. But overall, Brees played pretty good in my opinion. Nothing to worry about. I don't think he's. I don't think he's going to play in the 4th preseason game. I really don't want him to. Let's hit him.
I don't want to play him either. Yeah, rest him.
Exactly, just rest him. But overall, I think he did a pretty good job in the limited 17 plays that he did,
Yeah. I also thought the defense played pretty well, too. The pressure we got was amazing.
Well, yeah, the defense played good. Well, the first teamers, they started off pretty slow. They allowed the Chargers. They allowed the Chargers 90. I think it was 93 yards. The opening drive, the first 2 opening drives.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, I think it was something like 200 something, 260 total, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, you got to understand that Cam Jordan really, he didn't play the first two games. So he was a little rusty.
Yeah, that's true.
Most of the defensive starters didn't play. So it's kind of okay, it's a dress rehearsal. But there's really nothing to worry about. We're not playing the Chargers again this year, so we're perfectly fine. It's just a little rust issue, and it's the preseason. So, people were panicking, saying, oh, well, what's wrong with the defense? Trust me, there's nothing wrong with the defense. We're good.
Yeah. I think we were pretty. We had a nice goal line stand in the first possession, and then after that, we gave up 1 touchdown to Rivers. But it was rust. I think you were right about that. And just looking then, Brees, I think he had the touchdown drive, which was really good. With Kamara ended that with a touchdown, and then basically after that, we scored 36 unanswered. So that was really good. Just one question I want to ask. If Brees went down, say tomorrow, who would you go with? Would you go with Taysom Hill or Tom Savage?
Well, I honestly think, Savage is going to be number 2 in my opinion.
Yeah, that's
it's going to be, if God forbid if Breeze goes down and they had to pick somebody in the game, it's probably going to be Savage, although I like what Hill does. But if for some reason Breeze goes down and it's long term, I expect to sign another quarterback.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
The backup's not particularly on this roster,
Yeah.
God forbid, we don't want to jinx it and say anything about Breeze getting hurt, because
knock on wood after that.
As Saints fans know, if that happens, you can kiss the season goodbye.
Oh yeah, just because because after Breeze left, Tom Savage didn't play as bad. Because a lot of people do not like the way he plays, but because he doesn't take any chances. He's just the game manager. But I feel like he took a couple of chances in this last game. He had a long pass to Tommy Lee Lewis, which is really how he got all his yards, and then also he made a couple nice throws to Austin Carr, which I thought was really good. But, he didn't score any TDs because I think he's in the red zone. He just doesn't like to take chances, which is he's a game manager. So I feel like if he had a one game, I would probably go him. But long term, I think I may go Hill just because his boom or bust. And,
I definitely agree there. I like to think of Tom Savage as like the relief pitcher, not the closer, but like specialist that comes in the 7th inning, throws like the lefty specialist, like a Jesse Orozco back in the day. He would come in for the lefty version, get the guy out, and something like that, like a baseball reference.
Yeah, he can come in a pinch.
He's more athletic, but it's basically what you said. He's a game He's a game manager. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't throw interceptions all the time. But quite honestly, all you really got to do is hand it off to Kamara, hand it off to Ingram when he's in the game.
Exactly, just use the.
You're fine.
Yeah, use all the weapons we got because we have a ton. Just to talk about that, I thought Kamara looked really, really, really good. Like he's in midseason form. Didn't look like he missed a beat. And same with Mike Thomas, who just had a filthy play, a stiff arm. When Breeze was in, it was like a deep pass, like 30 yards. He looks amazing too. I feel like our the skill positions around Breeze, I think this is the best we've had in a very long time. So, when looking at it, I think we're pretty solid there. But this game, it was just well played, especially in the second half. Once Hill came in, it was just he played really good. Also the defense. But how do you think the players that maybe get cut, like you look at Austin Carr, or players on the defense like the Marcus Williams who had the cornerback who had the pick six. So who do you think actually could get cut? Just thinking about because we have so many great players, but some are going to have to get cut.
Yeah, that's the sad part in general, because in years past we didn't have all this depth. Now we do. So. Just general names, in my opinion, it may not be any surprise. Like Kakaha, I don't really. Is he still on the team? I'm guessing he is. But I've never, that could be one there. PJ Williams, another one, in my opinion. He was hurt last year. I don't know.
Yeah, he's hurt this year too.
He's really, he's a blocking tight end, but I don't think they're going to keep 3 tight ends, quite honestly. So that's probably one cut there. That's a few people I can think of where you can cut off the trim. But the Saints are going to have to cut people that will get picked up by other teams. From what I've seen about Austin Carr, I don't know if he makes the roster or not. I don't know if he's eligible. He might be eligible for the practice squad still. I'm not entirely sure. But if he is, and they cut him and he passes waivers, they could stash him on there. But he did play pretty good during the game.
He got some first team snaps he got. So that was pretty interesting. People are saying that the Patriots may pick him up if we cut him before he passes waivers.
Yeah, this whole Bill Belichick, Sean Payton relationship, it's kind of like, okay, we don't want somebody, let's give him the Patriots. Patriots don't want him, let's give him to us. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, we have Man, we have Austin Carr. Let's see, we traded Cooks.
Yeah, we had Cooks.
A couple of years to the Patriots, so
Shane Vereen also now we have.
It's just a connection of everything. It's crazy connection, but hey, it works. It kind of favors both teams,
Yeah, look, if we can mirror the Patriots and just try to get their dynasty, I think that'd be amazing. But we're definitely, I think we have the right formula though. especially to win this year. But I mean, this game though, it was just players who I had like on the radar. Also Davenport, we didn't talk about him yet because he played really, really good. I think I don't know how many snaps he had, like 15, 20, but I think he had 3 tackles and he also had the half a sack. So, I mean, do you think this now says that now he's good and he's ready to go? Takes all those questions out.
I thought he was good before. A lot of people are panicking. Okay,
Yeah.
you gave up 2 number 1 draft picks to trade. No, we didn't give up 2 number 1 draft picks. We exchanged 1, gave up a number 1, and gave up a number 5.
Yeah.
People were so panicking because he's hurt. But yeah, I think he played the same amount as Breeze. I think he played 17 snaps.
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing 17 because that was the magic number for a lot of stars. After the
17.
third series, they went out. Yeah, I think he had like I think it was maybe 6 tackles, 5 tackles. I could be wrong off that. I know he had that half a sack.
Yeah.
And he made that one heck of a tackle after that reverse.
Yeah, on the reverse.
That tried to pull, and right then and there, I mean, he's going to contribit.
Yeah, you saw his physical just attributes. Excuse me, but yeah, he's a physical freak of nature. I mean, it's amazing.
Exactly. He's showing why we drafted him, and I have faith. Jeff Ireland came in a couple years ago after all our disastrous drafts and started putting the pieces together. So,
you can't doubt him.
Yeah, it's going to come to a time where all these other teams are going to start raiding our, front end people and coaches and this and that because we're getting to be a good team. Well, we are a good team, really.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Patriots.
Oh yeah,
everyone's trying to take their coaches.
Patriots around the league have like everybody. It's just like, okay, Josh McDaniels has got like 3 coaching jobs, and he goes back to the Patriots every year. So it's like,
he likes winning the Super Bowl. At least being with Tom Brady. Also, another player we're looking at. Obviously, Taysom Hill was another player we was kind of up in the air. He obviously showed that he can, he bounced back well. He was a boomer. He really is a boomer bust player. I said a little about that last week. He just had a complete bust game against the Cardinals, and this week he had a complete boom. So I think that really just shows like how he is and the way he is. He is a playmaker, but he also can make bad plays, good plays. So I think that's really enough about him. Also, other players. I just want to see the secondary again. I think we played pretty good. How do you think the secondary did?
They played pretty good as well. I mean, you got the Marcus Williams pick 6 that was called back because of the defensive holding. And he winds up getting another pick 6. The second Marcus Williams, the older one. So I just don't know. He played pretty good, and his overall stats in 27 games with the Jets, he had 10 interceptions. Now that's eye-opening right there.
He was crazy.
Whether or not he makes the roster, I don't know because we're stacked. I hope he does, but I thought overall they played pretty good. Yeah,
Williams. Just to go back on Williams, when he was with the Jets 1 year, when the Jets were I think they were like 10-6. He had 10 picks, I think. So that just he had one amazing year, 2 so years, and then he got cut by the Jets, so we picked him up. I thought that was a really good pickup because I did see him play a couple games, and just with the Jets, and he's a veteran presence in that secondary, which I think we need because we don't have that many depth players, but. Also, I mean, when you look at our linebacker core, I think we really saw that who's going to start with Demario Davis, AJ Klein, and then Manti Te'o. Are you comfortable with those linebackers?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Klein's sort of up and down. He didn't have the best game. I don't think this past game. I mean, that touchdown that he gave up, but you can't really blame it on him. Teo's pretty decent. I'm actually surprised. When we signed him last year, I was kind of like I wasn't really for it. I really wasn't against it either. I was kind of like, oh, really? But I think we're pretty confident with that lineup going forward.
Yeah, I think because the first 2 games we were tamping around, either putting like Anzalone, maybe starting him, but I think we found the 3 linebackers. I mean, maybe Anzalone will play a little more. I feel like because he missed like a lot of last year, basically all of last year. I mean, he's so athletic, so I think if he ever really turned it on, I think he could be a really good linebacker and just doesn't get hurt because he's had the injury bug I think since high school. So I think that's a big thing.
See about him.
Yeah.
And then this may seem kind of shocking. I don't think they'll do this, but if for some reason his name gets on the waiver cut list, which I don't think would happen because he was a hot draft pick.
Exactly.
Offhand, so I don't think it will. But if they do it, it really wouldn't surprise me. And then, of course, they'd probably bring him back and stash him on a practice squad.
Exactly.
But I think other teams would claim him.
Yeah, for his physical ability. He's really fast. I think he ran in the combine. I think he ran like top 10 of like the linebackers in like the last 10 years. He was like top 10 in that. He's really fast. He's got to stay healthy. Supposedly he was going to be a first round talent, but then he got hurt the year before he was going into the draft. So I mean, look, I wouldn't cut him just because he was a high draft pick, and he would definitely get picked up, I think. But I mean, yeah, if there's really no one left, but we have some other linebackers. Like I would cut Kihaha over him, and players like him. But I mean, just look at. I mean, we're gonna have to cut some wide receivers as well. Do you think because I think Brandon Tate has the kick returning role locked up. He had a couple of nice kick returns the last game. I think he had maybe one this game. Do you think Tommy Lee Lewis may get cut after this, or some other receiver? Because I think right now we have 8 receivers, so we're going to have to cut that down to 5 or 6.
I think Tommy Lee Lewis is probably going to get cut because Brandon Tate, he showed in the preseason why we picked him up, why we signed him. And it's kind of unique, too, listening to certain things and also about Ted Ginn Jr., and I actually heard something on the radio, local sports radio down here, where he doesn't return kicks anymore. And I'm like, well, that's why we got him in the first place, because he's not the best receiver. He drops a lot of passes. Yeah. And twice he ran the wrong routes, and Sean Payton called him out on it offhand. But, yeah, I kind of think Brandon Tate is going to be the kick returner, punt returner, which one, maybe both. Yeah. So, I mean, in the numbers game, like you said, unless he's eligible for the practice squad, I don't know. I don't think he is. But if he is,
I think he was on it before.
Yeah, but I don't really see him being on a roster because we have too many wide receivers. You can only keep so many in the 53-man group. It's going to be hard to.
I think we'll keep probably 5 or 6. I mean, if you just count them off, you have Mike Thomas, Ginn, Meredith, Traquan Smith, and then like that 5th spot is up. You can give it to I could see Austin Carr getting it. Also, we did pick up Malcolm Floyd, but he hasn't played well at all, so he'll probably get cut as well. And then we have the undrafted free agent, what's his name, Keith Kirkwood. So he had a couple of nice catches, but I don't really know. We already cut Josh Huff, who we got like very early in the offseason, but I mean, out of the wide receivers, I think that's one of those positions that we're stacked on. But
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, what do you think about running back now? Because Ingram's going to be down for 4 games. It looks like Williams won the job. Can you see like Boston Scott not only making the team, because I think he probably will make the team, but do you think he can like split carries with Williams in that role with Ingram? Because I really like Boston Scott and what he's done.
I think so, offhand. He was used, at Louisiana Tech. He was used as a running back. He was used kick returner, punt returner. He's got some speed. Overall, I think they may just use him for like punt returns and like maybe I would use him for like gadget plays, trick plays. I'm sure he'll get a few carries here and there. Yeah. I mean, the bulk of the plays until Ingram comes back is probably going to be a ratio of like 40% Kamara, like maybe 40-45% Williams, and then whoever, Scott will get maybe 5-10% here and there. And then plus, they could use him in the back as a receiving back, throw a few screens to him. He's got the speed. We got the offensive line to block. So yeah, I think he's that way.
And yeah, I think of him in tandem with Kamara and just Williams. I think they'd be a really good trio. Because I mean Ingram, everyone thinks we'll be like okay with Ingram. I think Ingram's, he's like kind of an unsung hero. Obviously Kamara, he gets a lot of the the credit, but I mean Ingram does a lot of good things as well. He's also a better blocker than Kamara, so I think those 4 games. I mean Williams, I think it could do Ingram's role. I don't think as good as Ingram, but I think he could definitely do it. And then with Scott there, I think they could really, hold that up. And also we also have Shane Vereen on the roster. I don't know if he'll make the team if they want like a veteran presence there, but I mean I think he was just a camp body. But
yeah, I think he's a camp body too, offhand. And unless somebody else gets hurt, I don't see them keeping him at all.
Yeah, because we already cut West, so I mean, it seems like the veterans were just camp bodies and that stuff. But
true.
All right, so now I think we'll be transitioning into now, like to the regular season because the 4th preseason game doesn't really matter as much, but really, I think we'll start to talk about the season and just about, Saints Bucks. So, I mean, they'll be starting Fitzpatrick instead of Winston. In their last preseason game, I don't think Fitzpatrick did anything special there. But I think this should be a pretty it's easy win. No, I'm not going to say easy because no wins in the NFL are easy. But do you think we stack up well against them?
Oh, yeah. In the immortal words of Jameis Winston, I'm going to eat a W.
Yeah.
I swear. But, quite honestly, I, like you said, nothing's easy in the NFL, and I don't want to. You don't want to overlook any team. I mean, because you look at last year, that last game. We had nothing really to play for at that point, but we lost to a 4-11 team at that point.
That was with Winston.
Quite honestly, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's not the best quarterback in the world. But you never know. Between now and then, they may go get a quarterback. You never know.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's only 3 games.
Stone, so.
Yeah, I saw him play because he was playing with the first teamers, obviously, because he's playing the first 3. He didn't do anything special. But, he's not going to do anything special. He's another one of those backups that's kind of a game manager. He played for the Jets 1 year. He had a really good year. But then after that, he really, didn't do anything special as well. But just the season as a whole. Yeah, just the season as a whole, I think that, we're all in pretty good shape. Our season's, though, our schedule, rather, is really, I saw it's pretty difficult. We start off pretty easy, but then, after the bye week, it really gets going. So I think we have a 3-game stretch of, the Vikings, Eagles, and I think Cowboys. I mean, how many games do you think we should win out of those? Do you think 2? And I think 2 are on the road, too. I would be happy with 2 or 1, but, I mean, obviously, some people have us going 3-0 or, 1-2. Because all these national medias, they're only thinking we're going to go, 10-6, 9-7. I'm going to be like, what? So, and then we had, I think...
I don't listen to the national media because they're always biased against the Saints. The NFL tells them practically, okay, be biased, in my opinion, because... Sports Illustrated is picking the Atlanta Falcons to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there was one reporter who picked the Falcons, Cowboys, and the Panthers to make the playoffs. And he was like, "Oh, the Saints are loaded, but I don't think they're going anywhere this season."
Yeah, I saw that.
I had to look. And I'm like, "What is wrong with?" See, we get no respect. And as far as the scheduling process, the last 3 or 4 years, we had it tough. But I mean, if you look at our schedule this year, we had, I think it's 3 games. 3 road games, and we have those 2 Thursday games in a row.
Yeah, those are going to be brutal.
If that isn't sticking it to us, I mean, what is? But you know what? That's fine. Drew Brees is the best quarterback in the NFL, and we have a good team. We're going to persevere. I think we're going to go 11-5, 12-4. I mean, I don't see why not, unless for some reason people get injured or something like that, then,
Yeah.
But as Saints' motto, prove them right.
Yeah.
Which we do.
Yeah, to me, I'm going to stick towards 12-4 because I just think that's, I think we're a little better than last year. I don't think we're, much better, but I think we have the extra, I think we have a little extra depth, we got a couple players like DeMario Davis. I think those are going to be, I think that's going to bring us to, 1 more win. Also, last year, we had a couple of losses, we had, the beginning 2 losses. To me, I just take those out because, we were not at the top of our game at all. But I think besides that, we're pretty good there. And then, so now I think we should get into some Saints questions. So we got 3 questions this week. So if you don't mind, I think we can answer them together.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So the first question is from DomeGoer9 on YouTube, and he asks, who do you think will make the team or get cut as the people that are on the cut block? So I think he was referring to players like Tommy Lee Lewis, Austin Carr, Shane Vereen, Jonathan Williams, players like those, and also on the defense players like I think the cornerback Marcus Williams. I hope he makes a team, but you never know there. And then players like Kakaha or Muhammad, who's also on the defensive line. So who do you think will? Do you think a lot of those players? Because we already have I think it's 90. We have a 90-man roster right now. We cut that down to 53. So
yeah, they used to do it in the past where they would go 90, 75, 53, but the NFL changed the rule on that. But like I said before, I think Kakaha, he'll get cut. P.J. Williams, whether or not to keep Austin Carr, I don't know about that. And Shane Vereen, like you said, the other players, pretty much most of them. I think Tommy Lee Lewis is probably going to get cut. There's always a few surprises, and of course, we're not in the Saints facility all the time, so we don't know what they're going to do. They may pull a fast one on us and say, you know what, we're going to keep him and get rid of him, because every year there's surprises.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't honestly know if Ted Ginn Jr. is going to make the roster. In my opinion, I don't know if he probably will, but I would not be surprised if they let him go.
Yeah, I mean, I think between Ginn, Mike Thomas, Meredith, and Traquan, I think they're all probably make those four. I think will make it, and then after that, I mean, unless something happens, like something happens to Ginn, or like whatever, I think we'll probably keep him. But also, just quickly. What I've seen from Meredith has been pretty underwhelming. Do you think that he's going to come on like later in the season, or do you think in just practice he's been practicing with like Breeze, because he had a couple of drop passes, and last game he had he caught a ball but it was out of bounds, so it didn't count. So do you think he'll be okay for the season, or?
I kind of hope so. I mean,
yeah,
getting paid $10 million for 2 seasons, and so that's $5 million right there. So we got to get something out of him.
Yeah,
hopefully he comes out I'd like to see him in the first game get like 12 receptions and 3 touchdowns. I mean, hey, you never know, stuff can happen. But I think he'll work itself out, and he'll be fine.
Yeah. So here's our second question. It's from Saints Mets Knicks 934-7 on Podomatic, and he asked, do you think any undrafted free agents will make the team? So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as far as like that, last year a bunch of them, like 4 or 5 of them, made them on the defense, this and that.
Yeah.
I don't know offhand. Maybe 1, maybe 2. I don't really know all the particulars on that, but it's gonna be tough this year with the depth chart.
Yeah, we have a lot of depth. So I mean, I'm just looking at some undrafted free agents. Keith Kirkwood, he's a wide receiver. He actually played pretty good, but I don't think he'll make it. Also, we had a couple of undrafted free agent tight ends with Dan Arnold and Dion Yelder. So I don't think those two maybe Dan Arnold makes it. I don't think Yelder. He may be put on the practice squad. But I think we'll have a lot of undrafted free agents on the practice squad.
They gave Yelder $100,000, so they thought pretty big of him. But the person I want to see make it is Nate Wozniak, 6'10" tight end, get tackled. Just think of him like Harold Carmichael in the 80s. I mean, good Lord. Can you imagine Drew Brees throwing up top to 6'10" tight end?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
What Jimmy Graham's status times 100.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Graham's only like 6'6", 6'7". Think if someone was 6'10", that's
Yeah, that's a basketball size. I don't know if he'll make the roster, but still, I'd like to see him try. I'd like to see it as a third tight end, walking back every once in a Hail Mary situation. Hey, 6'10", that helps.
Oh, yeah. So now our third and final question. This question is from Who Dat Fan 91341, and his question was: do you think we would be good on the road this season? Because obviously seasons in the past we haven't been as good. Last year we were a little better, but do you think we will improve on that? So, I just want to. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was about to say. I think our running game really helped us on the road, and especially games in the playoffs will also help us. Because just when we have an improved running game, I think that's really going to help, especially with Ingram and Kamara. In the playoffs, they didn't do as much, but maybe as they get more experience in the playoffs, they will do a little more. But what do you think on that?
Well, yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, as far as the road situation, really, how I break it down is if you take care of your business at home and go 6-2, 7-1, then you can afford to go 4-4 on the road, 11-5 record. As far as being number 1 seed and stuff like that, also I've heard where 12, 13 games might do it. Number 1 and the number 2 seed is home field, but I mean, if you in years past, the Saints would go 7-1, 8-0, and then they would kind of peter out at the end. If you take care of your business at home and then tend to go 4-4, 5-3, and split, you have a good season. So
that's at least 11 wins. You're hoping.
Yeah, I think we can improve. Like Drew Brees says, there's always room for improvement.
Oh yeah. Because, I mean, even Breeze, I was looking at our road games. I think that's where the schedule, got us this year. We do have a lot of team heart-to-heart schedules, but a lot of our hard games are at home. I think we play the Eagles at home. Obviously, we play Atlanta at home and teams like that, Carolina. But I think we definitely play the Vikings on the road, but I think we play Pittsburgh at home as well. So I think that's going to, help us a little bit as well. I think their hardest road game, I think, is at Minneapolis in Minnesota. But, I mean, I don't think... I mean, just looking at their team and our team, I think we may win that game, just try to avenge the loss there. But I think we're going to be pretty good on the road. I think 4-4, 5-3, I think that would be really big for us, especially if we're 7-1 at home. That's 12-4 right there.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think that's a good ratio.
Yeah. So, so with all that said, I think it's time to wrap up this podcast. So I just want to say thank you for Bryan to coming on and talking some Saints Chargers and Saints football.
I thank you for having me, of course.
Do you want to give another shout out just one more time?
Yeah, I'll throw my regular account in at FieldGuy316. That's my regular Twitter. And of course, we are the Who Dat Nation on the Facebook and at WATWDN on the Twitter, and YouTube is We Are the Who Dat Nation. And I tend to do live broadcast on there, because being a fan, I'll do whatever. And We Are the Who Dat Nation on Instagram. And I think that's about it. And everybody who listens to this podcast, go follow this man. He does some good stuff from one Saints fan to another. It's not all about the content, but let's support each other, share each other, and let everybody follow everybody.
Oh yeah, that's that's what I'm looking to do too. Follow a lot of Saints pages and stuff. But if you want to follow us at the Who Dat Discussion, you can follow us at the Who Dat Dis on Twitter, at the Who Dat Discussion on Instagram. You can also follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube at the Who Dat Discussion. And then also you can follow us on iTunes and Google Play at the Who Dat Discussion on there. Please like, comment, and do all that good stuff. So I think with all that said, I just want to say prove them right. Thank you, and Who Dat?